I have a lot of people just, you got to come out and just tell the story, help people because it's
Yeah.
keeping your knowledge and your experiences and become vulnerable is very important. So people know they're not the only one because
Yeah.
I thought that I'm the only one going through this shit. And when I open up, I was like, holy shit, I have the same issues.
I was told that it was a male-dominated industry in banking, and I was told that I would not be promoted to the next role because I was a young mom. And every time I was told no, I would overcome the challenge and I would prove that message was wrong. One of the things you mentioned about Tony Robbins, what he said was, if you treat each other the same way as you started dating, the relationship will never end.
When it hit the bottom or they hit something really hard, that's when I was like, okay, it's time to change. Women connect a lot sooner.
But if you realize that one person is not committed to growth and improvement and one person is, then sometimes the relationship doesn't have to last, I think. Yeah.
So how do you rebuild it? How do you reprogram? Because we are like an old software. That shit doesn't work. Like in the life you're in right now, whatever you learn in the 17 years, in the banking industry,
Yeah.
I know none of the shit works. What are the signals you're sending to the man? Man, listen now. What are the signals you're sending?
The signal is that listen.
Welcome to my podcast, Mastering the Inner World and Outer World. Today I have a guest. It's Natia. I'm not going to pronounce her last name because it's not good, but I got to guys tell you, you want to listen to this podcast. She's an immigrant from Georgia, like me, not from Georgia, from Poland, and we have a lot in common. She succeeds I would say in the corporate life, you have over 1,000 employees. You work there for 17 years. And she figured out that's not it. She got to the top and it's like, there's something from life more important than just a job and more fulfilling. I think I don't know if I read your bio. So I think you figured out this is the purpose without success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. That's what Tony Robbins keeps saying.
Yes.
And I think that's what you got, right? And you got to the top of the ladder. It's like, what next? And then it's like, I'm leaving.
Right.
And then you start doing the important work that, what everybody's looking for, to find a purpose.
Yes.
And mastering the full purpose, finding the fulfillment, the inner world and inner life. And tell me, how did it come out to it? What was the trigger point? What was was the threshold or was the bottom of the bottom? How did it happen that you switched from being in a corporate world to going to this?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you.
And we have a lot in common and our mission is so aligned. And as you mentioned, I moved here when I was a teenager, and I was always very passionate when it comes to leadership and just influencing people. And I was leading a large team. I literally started from the very bottom. I was every step of the way in banking world. I held a position.
17 years.
Yes, 17 years. And I knew that I had a bigger purpose and a mission, and I wanted to help women to really find their voice and empower them to be the best version of themselves. And because of my own journey and what I went through, and it was challenging, I was confident that I will be able to help a lot of women, and I'm so passionate about this now and grateful that I have this opportunity to be in front of women, coach them, and help them reach to their next level.
But walk me through. It's if you're in your bubble for 17 years, it's so hard to quit and just start a completely new job. You know what I mean? Suddenly, you figure out, right now, I'm supposed to be somewhere else. I'm supposed to worry about this and just go. Because, to me, going completely back to unknown area, I mean, I will say for guys, you got to have balls. But, for a woman, you have to have the courage. What make you? Did something happen that you said, it, I don't want to do this shit anymore?
Yeah, I think you use the right word, courage, right? You do have to have a courage. And when you are comfortable in a position, which I was able to, buy my place in New York. And I went through divorce. I lost both of my parents. So I went through a lot of hard times. And I realized that there is nothing that I cannot overcome. I've had so many challenges in my life that, okay, so what's next? And the next was, I want to add value to other women and show them how they can rebuild themselves, because I had to do that myself. And I left New York last year, and it's just been 1 year that I moved to Miami. And I started my women's...
Why Miami?
Why Miami? I don't know. It was actually like calling my name. I love warm weather, and I am all about wellness. And when it comes to wellness, I started my activewear brand. So besides the coaching I do, my activewear comes in these beautiful boxes, and it's a reminder that your journey starts now. And the wellness community is growing here. I do a lot of big events. My last event was over 50 women, bringing them together. We do the manifestation, meditation, and a workout. So Miami was the place for me to go. And I told my son, hey, we're packing our bags. I am leaving my career after 17 years, and we're going to start something new. And that's what I did.
Okay. So if we go to the wellness, so you've been in the wellness entire life. So when it helps you like understanding like what's going on when you go through the the hard, because you went through a lot of hardship, right? So walk me through, like, because for me it's like, and you did say, you know, like meditation, manifestation, like workouts, like the physical and mental health, it's like they connected, and it's everything else. And I really do create that. I keep saying, and if you watch me, you know, I say this a billion times, you know, the inner world create the outer world, you know. And how do you connect with women through this process? Because like, I know guys are freaking, we are logic.
Yeah.
And that's why, guys, I'm doing this for you guys. So that's for you guys.
Yeah.
We do with logic, right? And women, and we completely disconnect from emotions. Women do really with the feels, like with the heart, with the soul, and you are really connected. How do you...
Yeah. So the way I teach, and I look at this as, I have a 3 process framework. The number one is the clarity. You need to be clear exactly what do you want. And I help women understand it's not easy to come like, oh yeah, I might want a lot of things, but being very intentional and clear exactly what you want and build a framework around that. And the second one is the communication. How do you talk to yourself? And what are some of the things that you want to achieve? So it's all about like how you communicating with yourself and then to the world. And the number 3 is all about action. I believe that action creates confidence, and action creates just your future. So I teach that when it comes to action, what do exactly we have the version of like, this is what I want, but what is your execution process? What exactly you're doing about it? And if someone is going to tell me, hey, you know, mentally I'm not strong, I'm always exhausted, I overreact, then I understand, hey, these are the steps that's going to help you. First, gratitude journal, you know, go work out. Even if you move your body 10, 15 minutes, that's going to help you not only physically, but with your mindset. So basically, these are the framework that I connect them to understand themselves first.
But you connect, you create everything else through your experience.
Correct.
Because you went through a lot of hardship, right?
Of course.
Okay, so tell me like your story, because it's, I get it, because it wasn't like you lost parents and divorce.
Yeah.
Like for me, divorce was like, what the hell? Like suddenly I realized I have zero control over the other person.
Correct.
So it was like, you know, there was the hardship. There's like, tell me your story. Like, how do you get to the point that you're like, you know, I think it's time for me to share the story, because I have a lot of people just, you know, you got to come out and just tell the story, you know, help people, because it's keeping your knowledge and your experiences and become vulnerable is very important, so people know they're not the only one, because I thought that I'm the only one going through this shit. And when I open up, I was like, holy shit, I have the same issues. Yeah. How did you, like, there was like a chronicle order of like, you know, you with the parents, with the divorce, how? Yeah.
So I realized the same thing. When you are sharing your story, people connect not what's the best version of you, but what you went through and what's your story. And for me personally, you know, I had to overcome a lot of challenges. First was, I was an immigrant here, and I had to overcome the challenge of I would not be promoted to the next role because I had an accent. And I was told that it was a male-dominated industry in banking. And I was told that I would not be promoted to the next role because I was a young mom. And every time I was told no, I would overcome the challenge and I would prove that message was wrong. And I think that gave me a motivation to keep going. Then I lost my parents, recently my mom last five years ago. And that made me realize that, oh my God, like life is so short. Something can happen to me like tomorrow. And if I don't take charge of my own happiness, because I got married early and we just outgrow from each other. And I said, you know what? Everybody thought that I was crazy. Like after I lost my mom, next month I filed for divorce. And they were like, oh my God, like you went through such a hardship and now you're going through divorce. And I said, yes, because life made me, it's like life is so short. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's all about what do I do, the actions I'm going to take. So I went through the divorce every day. And that was during the period of COVID. And a lot of gyms were closed in New York. I was always very active when it comes to wellness. Like I would go for a run. Before at school, I was a professional swimmer. And I was always had this competition in me, And then I started working out at this CrossFit gym that was at the park. So every morning I would wake up at 6 a.m. and I would challenge myself. And when I went through divorce, I told myself I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. And, I lost over 30 pounds. I never had abs before, and I do now, so I'm super proud. And when women tell me, oh, I cannot do that, you don't know what it's like, I just remind them and I share my story that there is nothing you cannot overcome if you put your mind to it, but then you need to take action.
Mm-hmm. You said something very interesting about the divorce, that you decide that you completely outgrow each other. It's funny because, I've been through some relationship. I'm not a relationship coach at all because, I'm 0 for 3. So, so I just want to make sure, how does it happen? Like tell us the story, like two people, you don't have to talk about young marriages, but how two people completely, like, I don't know, 10, 5 years, 18 years, like mine was 18 years, completely two different human beings grow apart. Like for anybody's listening is married and want to work on the marriage, like what advice would you give him?
I think the number one when it comes to relationships is the communication, and you need to be very clear with your communication and intentional about your actions. And one of the things you mentioned about Tony Robbins, what he said was, if you treat each other the same way as you started dating, the relationship will never end. So,
what if you grow in completely different direction, emotionally, mentally, intellectually, and physically, spiritually, and the other person is not? It's like, hey, I'm comfortable. That's your shit. I do my shit. And it's like suddenly it's two different human beings. A year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, you're like, who are you?
Right. And I think it's understanding exactly who you are as a person, who you're becoming. And one person might have a growth mindset and one person might have a fixed mindset. And if the fixed mindset person doesn't want to grow and they will stay stuck in their old life, the relationship is not going to work. But if both of the partners are committed to working out the relationship and the communication and effort, then it's going to work. But if you realize that one person is not committed to growth and improvement and one person is, then sometimes the relationship doesn't have to last. I think it is meant to, end, and then you realizing who I am as a person. And I was very intentional of who I wanted to be with and what kind of partner that I wanted to have in my life that reflects of values and the vision that I have for my life. And until you find that person, I always say, don't settle.
No. I got it. So here would have been, like, I talk with a lot of men, right? A lot.
Yeah.
And everybody always got a like wake up call or want to change their life. It's like, I'm they depressed or suicidal or they going through some hardship. When they hit the bottom or they hit something really hard, that's when I was like, okay, it's time to change. Women connect a lot sooner. You know, your emotional intelligence is, and I'm not downgrading men, but you know, women connect their, you know, their soul and their mind a lot quicker than we are. You just spiritually a lot deeper without even like a hard breakup or bankruptcy or hardship or lost somebody of loved ones. How do you would give advice to the man how to work, like, you know, how to connect with the women, and either through marriage, through meeting somebody new and having the same thing, so the man don't have to go through the bottom of the bottom to wake the up, because we are stubborn and we don't get it, and then the second we get it, we're like, oh shit. What advice would you give it to the man from the woman perspective, because we don't hear you? So
I would say the number one thing is for men is when woman becomes distant and silent, that is the biggest sign. When women care and they want improvement, they will share different ways. Sometimes I also help women the best way to communicate and be calm, and a lot of times to pause instead of reacting. But I would say don't ignore the signs. A lot of times people get busy with their lives and they ignore the signs of, let's say, having dinner and everybody's on their phone and not having that quality conversation and the connection. So it's not all about spending time together, but intentional with the time. And if woman becomes distant and silent, I think that's the biggest sign. So there is something that they need to check in and ask questions to each other to better understand. Instead of just waking up and like, I've heard so many, even from women and men, oh, I don't know what happened. We were together 5-10 years and just we woke up and our relationship is over because one person decided. But it's not only overnight. It happens through, we just ignore the signs.
So what are the signals you're sending to the man? Man, listen now. What are the signals you're sending?
The signal is that listen to understand and not to respond. Sometimes women need to, when they are sharing their thoughts, they need someone to hear them instead of just like giving advice or responding quickly. Or sometimes they feel like, oh, am I needy of asking this? And I teach them it's not about being needy, but it's about how you communicate. Either it's spending time together or, you know, what do you want to get for the anniversary? And sometimes men might think, oh, she's needy. She wants to spend time with me. She wants this gift, but it's not about that. She wants that emotional connection, and emotional connection is huge when it comes to relationship. And it doesn't have to be any grand gestures.
But we don't know what emotional connection is.
Yeah.
Do we feel it? Like, we don't know. We just like
and sometimes the emotional connection is as I go back is asking the questions to understand what was the best, instead of just, hey, how was your day? What was the best part of your day today? If men would ask, me and my boyfriend, we have a great communication, and, we build our relationship with trust and communication and same values. But if men will sit down and just say, hey, how was your day? And watching TV and being on the phone is not really paying attention what she's saying, that doesn't build the emotional connection. Emotional connection is built by understanding each other's needs. And sometimes all we need is being understood and connected with the person. So I think it's just being intentional. And for men is to really listen and support their woman the best way they can.
Do you agree that in the relationship, like, because you work with women, you work with a lot of single women, married women, or do you have
a lot of them are either going through breakup or divorce, and they are rebuilding themselves
so
and
what
their
is
confidence.
the common denominator? What is the common denominator in their emotional feelings, emotional intelligence, problems? What is the
They
common?
feel burnout. They feel that they don't have confidence anymore, and they always feel like they're giving more than they're receiving, and they are just.
Is this a trauma? It's a wound that it wasn't resolved?
Yes,
Okay.
a lot of times it is.
I mean, when I went through the breakup, I felt not me, because remember, what happened is this was my identity, like being a husband,
Yeah.
being a father. Suddenly I lost the identity. So for me, changing the routines and the rituals and changing the identity, because a lot of time when you go through the breakup, you go through identity crisis.
Exactly.
So how do you help somebody to go back to because
the
we
self-love.
don't, yes, self-love, because that's what I talk a lot about, self-love, because what happened is we are love and we are abundance, right?
Yes.
We don't need anybody else to validate our love or
Right.
connection. If you don't love yourself, if you don't connect with yourself, you cannot connect with other people and build new relationships. How do you, what do you guys do with the women so they get back to them? You know what I mean? Because well, how can I love myself? And I'm talking about the guys too. I'm not generalizing.
Yeah.
Like for men, it's like shit. I'm single now. I'm overweight. I don't make enough money. I don't. I'm not good enough at this. And we just the inner dialogue. How do you change the inner dialogue in women brain or mindset? How do you do that?
So I start with the daily routines that's going to build the self-confidence and self-love, because I always say you cannot have the other person love you if you don't love yourself. And you're representing the standards that you put for yourself is the standards that the world will see and your partner will see. So for example, what would you tolerate? What you would not tolerate? How would you take care of your well-being? And that starts with a daily routine, right? So I ask
But do
them.
you need to vocalize it, or you can just do it for yourself in the inner
No,
dialogue?
not a lot of people will not do it in a dialogue. We have a self-critic. We always think, and I'm not enough. I cannot do that, right? We always have, right? I love that. So I cannot do that. So we have, I call it limited self-beliefs that from the outside world, they don't see
Bullshit
that.
story they will tell each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, that's the most
Exactly.
common. This is just bullshit story, and what happened? We just say the bullshit story so many freaking times in our
That
head,
we start
and becomes
believing.
and we believe it, and then when we
Yeah.
believe it, it becomes our identity. So how do you go about reprogram your conscious mind? How do you do that?
So as I said, it's a daily routine. First, starting of things that you love doing, and a lot of times woman would say, oh, I love watching this movie on Netflix, or I would love to go and do my nails, or I like when I dedicate 10 minutes every morning to go get my coffee. Whatever it is, when it comes to you're feeling happy inside, I would say I ask them questions, right? Just go and do that. Whatever brings you the joy. The second thing is being grateful. Every day, it's a lot of people having hard time to find that, oh, I cannot get this job, or I cannot buy the new car. So what am I going to be grateful for, right? But if you look at the small moments in your life, there are being healthy is the number one thing to be grateful for, right? Even
Waking up in the morning,
right, waking up and
up.
just saying, wow, I am healthy, I can do whatever I want right now. That is the number one thing and the priority. So just help them understand. And I have on my website as well, I brought it for you, gratitude journal. So 3 things that you are grateful for, and finding those 3 things, and at the end of the day, okay, so setting a plan, what I want to do.
So when you do, we're going to continue, but I'm going to interrupt. So when you said 3 things you're grateful for, but you want to make sure that every day is different, or you can repeat them, or because
you can repeat that, or you can have it same. If you are still next day, you cannot find anything that different that you are grateful for, and you are still healthy, why not? You can just say, hey, I woke up this morning and I'm grateful and I'm healthy. And you can just repeat that until you find the next reason. And every day when you're looking for the reasons to be grateful for, you will find it. a lot of people, it takes practice.
Okay.
And then the third one is the confidence and overcoming the challenges. So, and I talk about physical, going out to work out. A lot of times I recommend, I don't know if they have classes for men, but for women, they have a different classes like Pilates or yoga. And I always tell them, and one of the reasons I host these events, I bring over 50 women together to show them, hey, we are in this together and we're going to help each other, and nobody's perfect and everybody is dealing with something. So I would say being active every day, dedicating 10, 15 minutes, even if you don't feel like working out, just going out for a walk for 10 minutes, everybody can find 10 minutes. It's going to just help them when it comes to those routines.
That truly like, to break any habits, I think we need 30 days.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, it's like just 10 minutes.
Yes.
And, go for a run, 10 minutes. I was like, Jarek, I cannot walk 30 seconds. I cannot run 30 seconds. That's okay. Just go 30 minutes, like 10 minutes. And then after like 30 days, the 10 minutes is not an issue. Because if you cannot find the 10 minutes for yourself, like what the hell? Like,
right. And how do you love yourself, right?
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the biggest thing is when I started my gym activewear clothing, I would send my clients the box and it would say, your journey starts now, you're powerful. And it's a reminder that I always ask them the night before, set up your activewear like a gym clothes. Because when you wake up and it's the first thing that you see, you're like, oh my God, that looks so cute. I need to go and work out. So it's just a reminder.
So women work out because something looks cute.
Of course, that's part of it. Of course, we want to look cute. Yes.
Okay. So walk me through like your when you throw it's like a mastermind, or it's what is it like?
So right now I do 101 coaching, and I am also planning the mastermind and a podcast where I'm going to invite different women from a different journeys so they can share their stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the way like when I had my depression, right? I couldn't open up to anybody. Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you like, what advice would you give it to men or women to open up and just go talk to somebody or find somebody they can reach out and so people are not alone?
I think it's the hardest thing when someone is going through it is that, if I speak up, I'm going to be judged. And I would say anybody that's listening, if you know someone is struggling, and sometimes you will not even tell. They might be smiling, but inside they might be like, having a very hard time. But check in with your friends and with your family members. And, if they're going through a hard time, just I would say, coaching, and I'm a mindset coach. And a lot of people ask me, like, what is the mindset coach, right? Just to help you be the best version of yourself. And they will not reach out. I had sometimes the boyfriends or husbands or best friends or mothers and sisters reach out and say, hey, we heard about what you do. And then we would just set up a call. So it's being open. If you are not open to trusting someone about your needs, like coach.
I didn't trust anybody because the only people I was scared that people in my bubble, if I open up about all the issue I have and my inner dialogue, and it's like I was scared I'm going to be judged, right? So I have to go to somebody that it's like completely outside my bubble, and just search for answers. But a lot of people don't do that. Like I still cannot advise myself how would I do differently. Like I would definitely open up quicker because I was hiding for so long. It took me years. I mean, my first wake up call, it was truly when I was like 46.
Yeah.
I thought this is normal what I'm feeling. This is normal how I talk, and this is normal, and it wasn't. So that's what I'm like. So that's why so many people hit the end of the rope. That's why we have so many suicides.
Yes.
I mean, we have 740,000 suicides a year, so which is huge. And it's funny that women is only like 7-8% of it. Like I don't know the exact number, but it's almost like 90-10. So women are connected a lot quicker.
Yeah.
They're just like, holy
And the
shit, there's
reason
something going on.
Right.
Let me talk to somebody.
And the reason is because we get, like, women get emotional and they can verbalize this even if they don't go to a coach or the therapy. I would recommend therapy to everyone. Don't ignore the signs when you are going through hard times. You don't even have to go through hard times to go to the therapist. I think everybody should have a therapist. It's just,
How do you pick the right therapist?
I personally had to go through different therapists, and the therapist that I chose was the someone that made me connect with myself better. I think that's the right way, that, not immediately gonna click. It's the same way as dating, right? If you start dating, not same way, oh, this is gonna be my life partner. You just need to make sure that you feel your best self with that person and you can express your emotions fully.
And then let's say somebody's like, I don't have the money. I don't want to spend $200 an hour. So what else? What other tools that like you suggest for?
I mean, there are so many ways if someone is committed to improving their mindset, and there are so many different ways right now. Podcasts like you have to inspire people, and you can read so many different books, but you can do the research. There are ways that you can use your insurance to go through the insurance to get some help, but I would say don't ignore the signs. A lot of people, they do, as you said, and they wait till last minute.
I'm telling you, I know how men are, and I really like always say, like, please find a tribe, like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're creating for women, like a sisterhood. So
Yes.
it's like, because we want to, like, at the end of the day, we want to be loved and connected. That's a goal for every human, man or woman, it doesn't matter. So, and then we are divided. And how would you like suggest something? Because like for me, like, I always say, find a brother who will be a part of something, and you create part of something.
Yes.
So what do you tell the woman is just, it's open up and become, find a sisterhood or find a,
just having your circle that you can just be yourself and just, create the daily moments, or like, I do this every quarter, the events, and just bringing all the women together. And my clothing, it says fearless. And I remind women that fearless doesn't mean that you are not afraid. Fearless means that you are overcoming the fears and the challenges. So I just remind them it's all about our mindset. If you win your mindset, you're going to win in life. And not a lot of people can do that. But to your point, yes, creating that sisterhood, creating that events. So a lot of women wants to be understood, accepted, and this way they just feel connected. And I think the men are same way. They cannot just maybe verbalize, because for men, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but for men, they just have this figure, like, I always have to be strong. I cannot show my emotions.
It's just a stereotype. Don't cry, don't be a pussy, be strong and all this stuff. So we just have to, we put the mask all the time.
Yeah.
So walk me through, like, what happened with the clothing line? How did that come up? Like,
So the way this clothing line started is, as I mentioned, so I start going to the gym every day at 6 a.m. I would wake up before my work, and I would take a selfie because I wanted to have the transformation. So I told myself, I am going to be the best version of myself, the way I look, my mindset, and I think it's all connected. So I started taking selfie, and I would wear, I'm not going to name the brands, they're my competitors now, but every gym clothing brand that's out there. So I would wear that, and I said, okay, that's great, but there is something missing. Like, I want the message that will be included in the clothing. So that's when it took me a lot of time to find the right right supplier, that I would love something that I would wear, and that's when I would present it to the other woman. So all my clothing, it has a message on it, and it says fearless, relentless, or visionary. So it's a then I would start taking pictures, and it says fearless. When I would look at myself, I'm like, wow, I'm my own superhero. And that's what I remind women now when they wear gym clothes. It's not about what you wear, it's how confident you feel inside it. And my slogan is, you wear your strength, which means that you are waking up, you're wearing your strength. It doesn't matter what clothing you wear. This is just a reminder that you are fearless.
Okay. Well, sometimes it's like, because you said like you've been in this industry for 17 years and you've been comfortable.
Yes.
How do you break the comfort? It's like, dude, this is not it. How do you break the comfort? Because it
was not easy. It's so hard. When you are comfortable, because you have the security of the job. But I knew that I was born. So my coaching and a podcast that I'm launching is called Born for More, because I always knew inside me that I was born for more. And I remind women that you are born for more. It's just your potential. I'm just going to help you uncover that. And I'm like, oh my God, like I teach this. I know personally I'm born for more. So even though right now it's going to be challenging and I'm going to take this unknown step, I know that my future self will be so grateful that I did, because I'm going to add more value. And my mission is to empower women to, again, to live their best life and not be afraid and go after their dreams. A lot of us, we have dreams, but it's just hard to take action.
Because, we have all dreams. And then in the middle of the process, like in the high school, you know, I always talk about like the parents consciously, unconsciously, the teachers, the colleagues, somebody just like, we were all born with everything, within everything. And we all born for more. But the problem is in the middle of the process, somebody just takes the pieces out of us. And we lose the confidence, we lose the strength, and the self-doubt comes in, the blame comes in, the shame comes in. And how do you go and reprogram and get everything back? Because I 100% with you, like we are definitely born for more. And it's an infinite game. It will never, ever stop.
Yeah.
Ever. And the second you think you got it, dude, watch out. You going down. Okay? So how do you put the pieces back? Like, it's like, because it's the self-doubt, and like you said, you said the word confidence like so many times.
Yeah.
The reason you got to get back because it was lost. Somebody took it out from you, and then you believe it.
Yeah.
So how do you rebuild it? How do you reprogram? Because we are like an old software. That shit doesn't work. Like in the life you're in right now, whatever you learn in the 17 years, in the banking industry, I know none of the shit works. It's just like okay, the journey is over. Let's start the new journey. How do you keep rebuilding yourself and take all the bullshit story or limited belief story? She used the nice words, I don't. So, out and clean your brain and change the belief system.
I don't think that you can change that forever. Like that stays with you. That gives you the strength. So I would say, some women would tell me, oh, I was told that I'm not good enough, or I'm like, I'm not in a best shape, I'm overweight. That should be your starting point. That should be your motivation. And that's how, for me personally, that was my starting point of like, hey, I know I can do better. And you challenge yourself. And the way I say the confidence, the reason I say confidence is if you don't take action, you will never have confidence. If you don't overcome hard stuff, you will never have confidence. So that gives you the, constant, okay, I overcame this. Of course, the next challenge I can overcome. So that gives you the motivation to keep going, and that self-belief of like, you know what, I went through so many hard things. There is nothing I cannot overcome. It takes practice. It's very hard. I still have a lot of limited self-beliefs, but I challenge myself daily that I'm like, okay, so no, that's not going to stop me. There are so many women that I'm going to inspire, And I can even talk about my self-limited beliefs and my most recent.
What are they?
So
We've warned about this podcast.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You can split it out.
My limited self-belief, first I was that, I had my son and I would not be getting promoted or getting a next job that I wanted, that I was told like you would never get it. I was told that you have an accent and you will never get where you want to be. There are so many other limited self-beliefs that, that I would want to change, but that fuels me and motivates me, and I want to keep going. And especially like after I had my son, I went through so many changes. Your body is changing, and a lot of women are going through that. They have depression and they have self-doubts, like, is my husband gonna love me now? I gained 20 pounds. But it all starts within, and just telling yourself that, hey, I'm gonna overcome this hard stuff, and there is nothing that I cannot do after that. That gives you the self-confidence.
Mm-hmm. Have you done any like a psychedelic journey? You connect, or ayahuasca? Do you just? Or...
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot. I do a lot of meditation as well, and that helps me. But what really helped me is that every day, starting my day with a workout and meditation, that changed my life. Okay. Like connecting with myself, truly.
How do you know that you connected? Because with me, it goes like, when I connect, it was like, I'm in like the highest of the high. Like, I'm like, the flow. Yeah. How do you describe your flow when you reach it and it's like, shit, I'm like, because that's, I always want everybody to experience. When you hit it, like, I have to mix so much alcohol and drugs in order to get high. And I will get high for like 15, 20 minutes and the high would go. Now I can, without anything, I can get a high for days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to flow. And it's like, my whole body is like my conscious, my subconscious, my unconnected. I feel good inside. Like, I have the good feeling. I have the vibes in my stomach, and I'm just listening to my body and I just go.
Yeah.
How, like, tell me how you feel like when you're in the flow, how, because people don't know. Like when I tell them like, dude, are you in the flow? Like you feeling it? It's like, I don't know what the it is.
Yeah.
It's how do you describe it? I can't, for me, it's hard to describe it because you got to feel it.
You have to feel it, and I feel like, and I don't know if it's same for you, but I feel like limitless. Have you watched that movie, Limitless? It's I forgot his name.
I read the book,
yeah.
But
so basically,
but that's not the same. It's the same. The movie, completely different. Okay.
But so it's about having this mindset that you can achieve so many things, and just having that high energy, and not all the time. And I don't believe always being positive. There are days that you will be sad, and I cried and I'm like, oh my God, like, did I make a right decision? I was so comfortable there. I could do whatever I wanted. I was very comfortable with my role. But then every day is not going to be the same, and it's going to be lows and highs. But I'm also grateful for lows, because now I ask myself, instead of just saying why this is happening to me, I say, what is teaching me? And that takes time, that takes intention to really learn about yourself. And when something bad happens, I'm like, okay, so this is a bad day. I just say, what did I learn from it? And to answer your question, I mean, when I just feel like high for life, I'm like, there is nothing I cannot achieve. How many people's lives that I want to improve?
So what is next for you?
For what's next to me, I mean, I think I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. I was born for more, and I want to remind every woman and man of I have a great audience, and I would not be where I am today if I did not have people that support me in my life. And what's next for me? I want to grow my brand globally, and I want to do more women empowerment events, and just help women be the best version of themselves. And whatever, everybody has a different version of themselves, but whatever is the best, I am passionate to help them get there.
Okay, just to finish, I just want you to, here's your camera. I wanted to talk to the woman or a man who is really struggling right now and doesn't know what to do. He's like at the bottom, like of the bottom. He thinks he doesn't have any options. Nobody loves me. I don't care. Nobody needs me in this world. It's got suicidal thoughts, and it thinks there's no options for them. Like, what message would you give him to just like, go?
So I want to share with everyone that you are important. You are not alone, and it's always courageous that you raise your hand, you reach out to your friend, your family member, or someone that you don't know, your coach, your therapist, and ask for help. That is the biggest power move. Ask for help, raise your hand. You are unstoppable, and anything that you put your mind to, you can create as long as you have a courage to ask for help.
Remember, you're not alone. We all go through shit. The demons whiz with you. Yesterday, I have a horrible day, and I just got out of it. Today, I woke up and like, today, we're not doing this shit again. Right. It doesn't matter where you at. It doesn't matter what you have. It's not important. You are love. You are abundance, and love life. Where people can find you, where people can find your brand, and the clothing line and everything else.
Sure. So my Instagram is NR Active Founder. My brand is NR Active. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. My name is Natia Ramishvili, and I am looking forward to connecting with the like-minded people. And as you said, we are all here to be understood, cared for, and loved.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys, you know what to do. Subscribe it, like it, follow us, and go share the message. Love you guys.
Thank you for listening. Leave your comments and subscribe for more insights on mastering the inner and outer wealth.